Hey guys, welcome back to Knowledge Over Grades. This is your favorite math coach, Latrell Jackson, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a trick I learned for multiplying numbers 6 through 10. Okay, so I learned this from the YouTube channel Minding Your Decisions, and I thought that it would be great to share with you guys because I know that once you get pretty high in the in remembering your multiplication facts, it gets a little bit tricky and hard to remember, especially when you're skip counting and you're like, how long have I been skip counting? Like for 5 minutes already. So this will help to cut down on the amount of time you have. You need to remember these multiplication facts and the amount of time you need to actually come up with it. So if you're excited to learn this trick from memorizing your multiplication facts between 6 and 10, go ahead and click the like button and go ahead and subscribe and tap the bell for more tricks and tutorials like this. And let's get started. Okay, so you're definitely going to want to download the multiplication times table I have created for you. It goes all the way up to 15, and I have the perfect squares highlighted going down the middle. So you need this to make sure you're checking our answers and make sure we're right, okay? You can click the link in the description of this video in order to download that this multiplication times table from the KOG Math Success Library. All right, so here are the rules. Both factors, which are the numbers being multiplied, i.e. A times B, are from the set 6 to 10, okay? So that means A is going to be a number between 6 and 10, and B is going to be a number between 6 and 10. We're just focusing on those numbers, okay? Number 2, what you're going to do is number your fingers on both hands, 6 to 10, starting with your thumbs. And you're going to rotate hands for certain fingers to touch and be multiplied. So depending on what the question is, you're going to rotate your hands in order for those fingers to touch based on the number. All right, so here is where we get to getting to the answer. The fingers that are touching and down, so the fingers that are touching and the fingers below those numbers, those fingers that are touching, are going to be added as tens. We're going to add them all together as tens. And the fingers that are above the fingers that are touching are going to be multiplied from each hand. So one side is going to be multiplied to the other side. Then we're going to add those numbers together. All right, you ready? So here are the hands. If you're trying this out, your hands are going to be in front of you, facing out, and you're going to be numbering your fingers from 6 to 10, starting with your thumbs. Let's try 8 times 8. So we rotate our hands so that the finger numbered 8 is going to be touching on both sides. And let's get rid of the other numbers because we don't need them anymore for right now. We're going to now focus on the fingers that are touching and the fingers below the fingers that are touching. And we're adding those numbers, those fingers up in tens. So one hand has 10, 20, 30. And the other hand has 10, 20, 30. So 30 plus 30 is 60. Cool. All right, let's focus on the numbers above. So the fingers above, we're going to multiply one side to the next. So we have 2 on one hand times 2 on the other hand, and that gives us 4. Okay, so now we're going to add 60 plus 4, and what's that? 64. If you check your multiplication times table, you will see that 64 is the answer to 8 times 8. Isn't that cool? You don't have to skip count all the way to 8. That's like a lot of skip counting. All right, let's do 9 times 7. So we rotate our hands so that 7 on one hand is touching 9 on the other hand. And we don't have to, doesn't have to be like the same 7 and the same 9. It can be whichever 7, whichever 9 you want to use, but make sure a 7 and a 9 is touching. Let's get rid of the other numbers and focus on the numbers that are touching, the fingers that are touching and below. So we're adding up the fingers in tens. So one hand has 10, 20, and the other hand has 10, 20, 30, 40. So we're doing 20 plus 40, and that gives us 60. Awesome. And then on top, fingers that are above, we are multiplying one side to the next. So we have 1, 2, 3 times 1, and that gives us 3. Next is to add these two numbers, 60 plus 3, and that gives us 63. See, wasn't that easy? So look at your multiplication table and do, like I showed you in the previous video on how to, not the previous, but the one before the last one, on how to read a multiplication table. You're going to put your finger on, one of your fingers on 9 and one of your fingers on 7, and then move along the line until your fingers touch, and your fingers should touch together on 63, okay? Rewatch that video in order to get a demonstration of how to do that. Let's try this last one. 6 times 6. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky because we don't have any fingers below the fingers that are touching. So let's get rid of the other numbers. And we just have these two numbers. So 10 plus 10, that gives us 20. Remember, these numbers are added in 10. Then the fingers above are going to be multiplied. So we have 4 on one hand times 4 on the other hand. And 4 times 4 is what? What's 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16. So that's a multiplication fact you should have memorized. That's one of the easier ones to get. 4 times 4 is 16, and it's a perfect square because perfect square means that we're multiplying a number by itself. 4 times 4. All right, so now what we're going to do is add these two numbers. And 16 plus 20 is 36. So 6 times 6 is 36. Go ahead and check in your multiplication times table. And guess what? 36 is also a perfect square. So you're going to see that it is highlighted in yellow. And why is 36 a perfect square? Because we multiplied a number to itself, 6 times 6. And they gave us 36, which is a perfect square. All right. Okay, so this is a little bit, a little tidbit. We're going to go more into that later on in some future videos. And it gets really important when you start working on exponents, perfect squares, that is. So I want you to try some on your own. We got 6 times 6, 10 times 8, and 9 times 6. And let me know in the comments below how this goes for you. Did you get confused? Is it easy? Let me know how it goes for you. And also, don't forget to check your answer in your multiplication times table sheet, okay? So, answer these questions for me. I really want to know which multiplication facts are the hardest for you to memorize and which are the easiest for you to memorize. I can probably guess which the easiest ones are because they were easiest for me too. But don't forget to check a previous video that I made which talks about the rules of multiplication that you can actually start forgetting about, because once you learn them, it becomes more second nature and kind of common sense, and then you can focus your attention more on the harder multiplication facts like the ones we just learned. Just focus on learning tricks like that, okay? So once again, don't forget to download your multiplication times table. It's going to be in the link in the description of this video, and it's going to take you to the KOG Math Success Library, where I actually have more resources and downloads for you to benefit from. So you definitely want to check that out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Tap the bell for more videos like this and tutorials, and then share it with someone that you think needs this information, this trick, because I know you have friends. I know you know someone who needs to get their multiplication facts real quick, especially between 6 and 10. 10 is easier to get. I gave you the rule on how to get 10 in my previous video on the rules of multiplication that you can forget. But the numbers between 6 and 9, those are the ones that you really want to focus on and use this trick to help you with. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.